You don't want to do it?
I'll do it.
Fucking do it.
Welcome to Walk the Talk. I'm your host, Colin Wells. All right.
No, we're keeping that shit.
Well, yes. Welcome to Walk the Talk. We got Joanne.
I'm gonna need you to put more emphasis on that shit.
Welcome to Walk the Talk, motherfucker.
Y'all
Yeah.
recognize this
That's
is
right.
Walk the Talk. I am Jan Balbuena, and I am here with the fabulous Cookie.
Hi, guys.
And Colin is here.
He's fabulous too.
Yep. I have my moments.
No, you have a lifetime, brother.
A lifetime of fabulousness.
There you go.
That's right.
I own it.
That should be on my tombstone. He led a lifetime of
Take note.
fabulousness.
And craziness.
That's right.
But today we have an awesome content. I'm high. Am I high? I am not.
Content-filled podcast.
Content-driven, content-filled. We got 3 cannabis, pioneers in the house today. Joanne, cannabis synergy, boycott shitty weed. Cookie is a cannabis comedian and content creator, and I myself am the founder of Veterans Walk and Talk, and I like to think that I'm a psychedelic expert in a lot of ways, and at least taking them. So that's why we're all here. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes, we do.
The way of the world right now in August of 2020 is divisive, to say the least. We don't know where anyone stands with anything, especially.
Oh, we know where a lot of people stand.
Right, we do.
That's
we do.
the unfortunate part.
That's true. That's true. What my point was is, like, until you meet someone face to face, there's so much social media back and forth going on, and it feels like people are moving work and doing work, but it's really not. And so it's good to gather like this and have important conversations about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, so we woke up this morning, and first thing we listened to is the fact that protesters are being shot at by civilians, and the police is not doing their job.
That's right. So yeah, in Kenosha, Wisconsin, I think it is. I forget the gentleman's name, but he just got put out a warrant for his arrest now. But there is video of him passing the police. The police gave him water after he murdered people. So the police were complicit with this, which is just, we know they do this, but to actually have footage and proof, I just hope it goes to the right people and the right people can get in trouble for this.
Didn't they shoot an unarmed black man very recently, about 2 days ago?
Yeah,
that's why they're protesting. Yeah.
That's why they're protesting, and obviously they killed him in front of his children.
Yes.
And he didn't die.
He didn't die. He's paralyzed.
He's paralyzed. Yeah. He's actually was supposed to be in surgery today, fighting for his life.
7 shots to the back.
Jesus.
How dangerous can a black man, or just a human being at this point, be when they're giving you their back on their way to their car? I don't give a shit if he had just murdered a whole bunch of people. Because somebody this morning murdered and injured others, and he's still out here breathing and probably drinking beers in Wisconsin or whatever the hell.
I can say with all honesty, spending a year as an infantryman in Afghanistan, literally kicking doors in, I never shot anyone 7 times.
Well, I'm just saying, this is the type of stuff, like, I used to be one of those people that would hear, oh, they fund the police, and I have family members that are.
Sure.
And this morning I texted them, fuck the police.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if this is, because I'm over it. I'm not going to be here defending 2 or 3 that may be good apples when it's gone too far. And at this point, black, white, I don't give a shit who you shoot, unarmed, armed, we have to be done with that whole system. It does not work. It's biased, and it's literally a gang. These motherfuckers are paid with our own tax money to protect us, to make us feel, like our neighborhoods are safe, or that if we have a problem, we have somebody to call, and that is not the case. I'm over it, and at this point, I support any initiative to dismantle that whole situation.
I agree with you. I think that it is up to law enforcement to lay down their arms. The citizens and the people that are angry and protesting in the streets have every right and reason to be doing so, and it's not going to be them that lays down, ever. It needs to be the police. I completely agree with you. I have
Yeah,
cop
like,
friends, they get
these-
M16s and night vision and shit like that. They
Can
don't
we
need
give
all
them
that.
tranquilizers?
I'm
dead serious.
The cops they do have ketamine in some jurisdictions.
No, but not that kind.
Yeah, yeah.
'cause
I
that
mean,
can
they're
mess
doing
up.
it to themselves. At
They
this
are.
point, this continues to happen. More and more people, there is nothing you can say at this point, you know. So what's going to happen next is action to either have arms be removed from the police. Now you probably get your tasers and your this and that, and hopefully in that sense, when we actually take some action to do something that will prevent this from happening again, now we actually hopefully can get some good quality policemen, good quality people that want to serve their communities. Because at this point, all we have, yes, and I'm going to say it like this, a whole bunch of low-life motherfuckers that could not make it elsewhere and are angry at the world, and now we give them a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
and that's what happens.
It's a lot of frustration going on.
You've touched on a very important subject because for some reason in America, joining the military and joining law enforcement is like a last resort for
Last
impoverished
resort.
people who don't necessarily have the want or the know-it-all or the desire to actually do these things in the first
Period.
place. So why are cops not held to a 4-year degree? Why are cops an 8-year degree to carry a firearm? Why is that so unheard of? You see a cop carrying a firearm, you know he went to school for 8 years, you know he's been trained. They need to pull back completely and retrain everybody and fire anyone who has ever had a complaint against him. No questions asked, you're done. That's it. Restart. I agree. It's frustrating,
needs to
especially in cannabis, because that's where we all kind of make our mark.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I kind of never know, because it's so convoluted with what I do in Compassion Cannabis. Am I breaking the law? Am I not? And the bottom line is, like, me personally, since starting Veterans Walk and Talk, I've traveled the country 8 times in my van bringing cannabis all over this country, from Alabama to Delaware. And I have been let go by cops for things that you would not believe, like hot boxed van, weed in the car. Cop sees a white veteran and lets me go.
I'll be honest with you,
So
that's
fucked.
not why they let you go. They let you go because you
The beard,
knows.
the beard, yeah.
the skin, beautiful
No, the skin. Yeah. I remember being in Virginia, sleeping in a
Because-
gas station, and a cop pulled up to me. He looks at me, Hash is barking. My dog's name is Hashish. I'm yelling Hashish at the top of my lungs. I'm in Virginia, which is a no-no state. And he goes and sees my license plate, which has a combat infantryman's badge on it. He says, "You have a CIB?" I say, "Yeah." He says, "Have a nice day." That's just like that. If I were anyone else, I'd still be there in jail.
Yeah.
So why?
Ridiculous.
It's
I mean,
ridiculous.
my sister spent a night in jail in Virginia for doing 70 on a 65.
Jesus. Yeah, Virginia's
I mean,
crazy.
that was the first time that I was like,
I think
oh
they
my
just
gosh.
decriminalized recently, right? Virginia, I'm not even sure.
She is a Christian woman, pastor. She was on her way to New Jersey because her grandma had passed away. And they pull her over. In Virginia, apparently, you have to pretty much agree to being guilty when they pull you over before they let you go. So my sister did not know that. So she's like, I'm not signing anything. Like, why are you, And this motherfucker pulled her through the car window.
Jesus.
My sister's 100 pounds. He pulled her through the car window. So her husband was taking a nap. He even thought, it's a ticket, whatever the case may be. And when he saw that, he gets up. So he gets out the car, and the cop beat the shit. First maced. Fortunately, he didn't shoot them. But I'm gonna tell you what happened. So my sister's husband gets out of the car. He wants to fight the cop. The cop is holding my sister with one arm, maces my brother-in-law, and beats the shit out of him. And then he lunges at my sister, but my sister, fully Christian, she literally just said, "I rebuke you in the name of the Lord." And he
Wow.
literally stopped right in her face like that.
Wow, that's heavy.
And she tells me that he froze for like a good 15 seconds when she said that. And then he just handcuffed her and took them both.
Wow.
For a fucking speeding ticket.
I'm about to piss you off. You ready? I had an
I'm
arrest
not ready.
warrant in Virginia. I was served the arrest warrant. The cop came to my house, and so technically he's supposed to take me right there and then. I believe because I look white, that he actually let me talk him into not going with him and showing up to court the next day, and or just on word. I didn't have to sign shit. I didn't have to promise shit. Just on my word that I was going to show up in court the next day and turn myself in. I did. That's what I did. But nevertheless, why did he let me go? And he dragged your sister out of the fucking car.
Yeah.
But
terrible.
that's not even where it ends. Obviously, my sister, because we come from like a good family. My mom's already like, we got to get a lawyer, this and that. The lawyer went to Virginia and came back and said, you guys are better off just letting that shit go because I guess the cop might be related to a judge. There's only like 2 judges there. Some bullshit like that. So they swept that under the rug.
So as veterans, all of us, the main issue that I deal with is PTSD. And something like that alters a person's fabric immediately. So that police officer literally altered the rest of the life of your sister and her boyfriend or husband, and forever, and that's...
And us. We already were
Absolutely.
going through a whole traumatic situation. My grandmother had just passed away. And obviously, when you think about that time, then you have to also think about that because we have pictures like of my brother-in-law all beat up. Like, it was ridiculous. It was just some ridiculous shit.
It's terrible.
So I am over this shit. I cannot wait for the police to be done with because I'm sure it's going to happen. These motherfuckers have taken shit too far. We've taken it for too long. And at this point, it's a magnifying glass, not just in America, in the whole world. So we have people all over the world protesting and making a statement. So it's only a matter of time.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to, for these motherfuckers to find another line of job.
It kind of makes me feel like freedom's an illusion in this country completely. And then the things that we fought
and
for...
then your freaking president, not yours, but
yeah.
America's president, out here, they feel unsafe. Motherfucker, yeah, you should. You should feel unsafe because I don't feel safe. Why should you?
Right.
So.
Cops aren't supposed to feel safe. They signed up for a dangerous job.
I mean, yeah, nobody asked me if I felt safe when I was in the Navy.
Right. But my point is that the police are the ones that should feel unsafe at times. It's not civilians. A civilian being pulled over for running a stop sign should not be in fear for their life from the police officer. A police officer has signed up to occasionally deal with bad people. That's their job. But it's got so convoluted to the point where you're a criminal before you're even stopped based on the color of your skin. And that has got to stop. I can't tell you because I killed people for this country in Afghanistan. And for years we've been there. For 20 years we've been in Afghanistan. I was there for a year of my life, did more violent things in 1 year than most people do in an entire lifetime. Burned down villages, burned down fields, burned down crops, threw white phosphorus grenades into poppy fields. All kinds of shit. Ruined their entire way of living. Ruined their wells. Poisoned their water. You name it. We burned down a few targets in the name of racism and inequality and being an unfree nation under the guise of freedom, and everybody loses their fucking minds. Americans go to other countries and do this to other countries all the time. We are the oppressors. Get used to that. We are the oppressors.
High school principles is what America is of the world.
You know?
Ridiculous.
It is.
Let's talk about something.
Let's talk about weed. Let's talk about weed. Well, I mean, we're heated people. We can't help it.
No, absolutely. I mean, I also had to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, I'm like a person that judges people on their character. So I had a really hard time like judging the whole police department of, based on these motherfuckers that are out here being murderers. But at the same time, like, bro, check your brother out. Like, come on and do something.
But they get fired.
Well,
The policemen that have checked their their brothers and sisters out, they get fired.
In some cases,
So
they
the
get
problem
killed.
is hired.
Yeah. They have qualified immunity. Cops, for some reason, don't have the same rules as civilians do. Cops are like innocent until proven
they have
guilty.
Their own country.
Absolutely, it's not the same
Their own
for anyone.
constitution.
Well, internal affairs. Everything goes to internal affairs and mostly gets squashed. Sometimes something gets checked.
Checks and balances in this country is something we need bad. But yeah, cannabis is still a divisive topic, obviously, but a little more fun. We just smoked some hemp flower, which was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cannabis world's no different. You know, we got Sean Worsley in prison. We got people in prison all over the country for plant that's deemed essential now. Obviously dealing.
But I don't think that's a cannabis problem. That is again, an American problem,
Totally.
a political
No
problem. Cannabis is smoked or I should say consumed worldwide in every single country, grown in every single country, whether legal, illegal, you name it, who cares? It will be here. It was here before us. It will be here after us. The problem is us. The problem is our politics. The problem is that we're willing to take so much shit for so long and just cry about it and complain about it and then come up with solutions. Here's my thing, and it's one thing we expect, like this whole social equity. Let's move to social equity in cannabis real quick. We expect the government to come up with a social equity solution or social equity program that actually works. That is a conflict of motherfucking interest.
Absolutely, they're
Number
the
one,
oppressors.
they created the problem.
Yes.
What makes you think that they will provide a viable solution that would benefit other than them?
Not only that, the government actually
can you
denies that we're
explain that to me?
racist in a lot of ways. It's like the government wants to create a social equity program to equate the war on drugs and make people that were hurt by that get some kind of say in cannabis. However, the government also denies that there's a racism problem in this country. So it's just this big fucking circle of whenever the money's there, they'll make it available. And that's got to change. And states don't have the same rights. Social equity in and of itself is not enough.
Personally, I think that we should take it upon ourselves, people in the cannabis industry, the people who have licenses, you should take it upon yourself to provide social equity. Number one, people in the cannabis space, they start out with, the patient and the medicine and this and that.
That's good
After
marketing.
they get to a certain point in their evolution as a business, they literally forget about all of that and go for every single dollar. It's only about the dollar.
We put missing children on milk cartons. Why don't we put imprisoned inmates on cannabis products until they're all out? There's no dispensary you ever walk into and they're going, we love what we do, here's how you can help.
I agree. I mean, I'd rather have somebody that's serving for cannabis that paved the way for me than Trippy Tree's boobies, if we're being quite honest. I mean, they're beautiful, but she didn't do shit.
Yeah, I hear you. So that's I mean, no one wants to talk about it because everybody's raking in money. And the illicit market is up like crazy. My grower friends, their prices have shot through the roof. I know Humboldt growers getting $6,000 for packs right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's amazing. But then again, you can get scammed, you can get, it's the illicit market, you don't know what they're using. These are all things that people really seem to value, even though they'll eat McDonald's and not look at the nutrition facts. So, it's like, do you really need every terpene listed? Do you really need you need to know every last bit about where this plant came from and then you'll eat any fucking cucumber you find? I mean, like...
Yeah, I don't know why we're acting like cannabis is this one thing that needs to be put through a microscope.
It's because America doesn't like to admit they're wrong, and we got drugs wrong. Nixon declared a war on drugs. He said there were no medicinal benefits to anything, particularly psilocybin and LSD at the time, because those things were having major breakthroughs during his reign, or before his reign. And then he declared a war on drugs that drugs won.
That's ridiculous.
Well, drugs won, though.
They still winning.
They're winning. Drugs are winning the war on drugs.
The drugs, not the drugs. The drugs... Imagine if we look, this thing sitting right here is not doing shit.
Right.
What when I pick it up and if I do this, that's the problem.
It empowers you, yeah. Gotcha.
No, I'm just saying, like, if the people, like, I don't understand who we're voting for. I just, this whole world, like, I swear to God, especially after smoking cannabis, like, I put things into perspective. Like, what exactly do we value here?
We value, like, the way it is right now is we are focused on educating the politicians that are already in place that this is a good thing. When what needs to happen is we need people who already know it's a good thing put in their positions because they've been in there too
Correct.
fucking long anyway.
And that's the other thing. I mean, if you really think about it, the people making these laws, number one, probably have never even touched cannabis. I
Their
remember
name.
last year there was the ASA, Americans for Safe Access meeting, where there were some politicians there pleading their case of why we should vote for them. And they were asked to roll a joint just, you know, for shits and giggles. And some of them were like, oh my God, like, bro, you're trying to make a law and you can't even look at the plant?
Right.
What? First of all, grow up. And second of all, it's not gonna freaking bite you.
Right.
And third of all, how do we expect these people to make the laws that are actually gonna benefit the people?
And
That's the question.
Right now, we have the cannabis community, which is acting like a bunch of teenagers, yelling at their parents, let me smoke some pot. And so that's not a good way to educate neither if we just continue to attack each other.
That's true.
Absolutely.
And then we rush into things like Prop 64. And now we have the MORE Act, which is people are very confused about whether it's going to actually help or hurt. Are we too past the point in regards to cannabis in this country to make it work right? Is it not going to work right now? Is it going to be up to the states? Oklahoma's done a fantastic job empowering people. Are they going to continue doing that? Are they going to charge them 20 grand down the line for their initial $5,000, cost?
Investment? Yeah.
So, I mean, Vista, California raised the taxes 20,000%.
Let's not even speak about Vista right now.
Yeah.
I already went off on them last week.
It's terrible.
And I am so Southern California, like California, I'm so disappointed in California. California was supposed to be the number one is the biggest market at a global scale. Number two, you have been doing this since 1996. Why in the fuck have we not gotten it together?
Money.
I don't understand.
Because Dennis Perone and Brownie Mary in 1996, when they came up with Prop 215, the only reason they did that was to help dying AIDS patients. That was what their goal was. They wanted to help people have a better quality of life that they knew were going to die, because at the time, you were going to die of
Yeah,
AIDS.
of course.
So then it became, oh, now we can get access to weed. Now anyone can go get weed at these dispensaries. And then next thing you knew, it was packwoods and blunts and things like that. And it became recreational before it was finished being medicinal. So now, for someone like me who has a son in North Carolina and an ex-wife who doesn't understand cannabis, I am faced with the argument, how is it that it's recreational and you're telling me it's medicinal? So before it became recreational, we should have gotten the medicinal part right, but money got in the way.
The problem there is recreational versus medical. What's the only difference there is the
There's no
intention.
difference to me
Right.
either.
It's
I agree.
the
I agree. We're
intention.
talking about the average American who doesn't know cannabis.
Every time I hear people trying to plead the case either or, like, bro,
Yeah, but
the
you-
only difference is, okay, let me smoke this for fun
Right.
today.
Let me tell you.
Tomorrow I have a headache, let me smoke.
Mhm.
I mean, come on now.
Let me tell you how that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Because then you have my dad, who, like, he approves. He's a Hispanic, so they're very close-minded when it comes to cannabis. But he sees how
I'm
much.
Hispanic, and I'm
So
definitely
you know
open-minded.
exactly. Well, but you
I know
and I.
everything.
But
Oh no,
your
my
parent-
mom is definitely close-minded. I'm just giving you shit.
So he sees the benefits, especially because he did get to experience me taking the pills that the VA was giving me.
Right.
So he sees the difference of how I am, not only as a human being, but as a parent. And so he approves of me taking it. And like 5 months ago, at the beginning of this year, I remember having a conversation with him, and he tells me, no, the cannabis you take is different because yours is medicinal.
Of course.
So they grow it differently. Now it's like, papi, the only reason it's medicinal is because I have a paper. But it's the same pot that you seen kids smoke in Miami. It's the same plant. So to me, I understand the medicinal and recreational when it comes to taxation and who could take it, who can grow it, and stuff like that. but then it confuses people like our parents,
Yes.
that they don't have no education of the plant. All they think is this horrible poison. So he thinks it's like different seeds and shit.
No, but you're right.
That-
I mean,
yeah, it's
what you said
confusing,
is
yeah.
absolutely right. I mean, hiking is my favorite thing to do. It is medicinal for me and recreational. There's no line. Cannabis is the same for me. It is the great unifier, as we all know, and it
Yes.
brings people together. And it is as fun as anything I have ever done in my life. But it helps me and saves my life at the same time.
Exactly.
But I understand that. My friends in Kentucky have no idea. They just don't get it. They don't understand how California says it's recreational, but it's also medicinal. Now you're saying that Xanax is recreational and medicinal too. So is Oxycontin. So is this. So is that. And then it all just gets thrown into this same bucket. And clearly, we need 20 more
to do
minutes.
better. We need to do better about education.
Yeah.
We do. But before, because we are running out of time here, CBD Nation.
CBD Nation out on all platforms: Amazon, iTunes, anything, anywhere you can get it. It's an amazing film. It is science first. Please check it out. CBD Nation.
That's right. Well, thank you for having us today. And we're signing out. This is the first episode of Walk the Talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Bye.